Good morning, dear students. So, children, today we will do the first topic of our writing section, that is notice writing. So, beginning right from the meaning of the word notice. You know, often people say, notice that. This is a notice board. Notice the changes. It means to note something that is brought into your kind consideration, something that is brought into your information, right? So, for what purposes notices are being displayed? Notices are displayed for the purpose of conveying some important information, right? To pass on information from one party to the other, right? As it is written in the meaning as well, that notice generally is a displayed sheet or a placard giving news or information, right? So it generally gives some news, something that is new to us, or it adds to our information, right? Notice is a formal means of communication, and its purpose is to announce or display a specific information to a specific group of people. Notice is not written for all and sundry, it's not written for everyone. Notice is addressed to a particular group of people. Generally, the notices are meant to be put upon the notice boards, or what you call that display boards in schools, colleges, or public places, right? But note that notices can also be published in newspapers, right? So, we can simply say that the information given in a notice can be related to an event that is about to take place, or that has already happened in the near past, right? So, in a notice, must remember that either the information of the event that is likely to happen in future is given, or in that notice the information which actually has happened in the past is given, right? So, moving forward to the steps and the points to remember in drafting a notice, right? So, listen very carefully. So, children, the first point in writing a notice is that you should write it in a very neat and clean handwriting. Whenever a notice is put up on a board, that is meant to be read by a lot many people. It is meant to be read by a variety of people. So it should be written in neat and clean handwriting, right? The second point in writing notice is that one must use simple and clear language. It means that difficult words should be avoided while writing a notice. You know why? Again, I would say that notice is written for a variety of people. The people may be intelligent, they may be less informative. So the notice should be written in an easy language so that everybody should be able to comprehend it, everyone should be able to understand it, right? And clear language means every detail should be mentioned in a good manner, right? So that the content written in the notice should become clear to the reader, right? The third point is that the notice you are drafting should have an eye catching heading. Eye catching heading means that should look at least a bit attractive. you know People, it is often said that people judge a book by its cover. you know how we feel attracted towards reading a book? If we feel the title is interesting, if we feel that the novel's title is interesting, we may go for its reading. But if we feel that the title is not attractive, title is not good enough, so we may or may not go for the reading of that book. So same, whenever we draft a notice, although notice contains an important information to be conveyed to the readers, but still it must have an, eye-catching heading, attractive heading, right? And that heading should clearly indicate the purpose for which the notice is being written. The heading should be drafted in such a wording, right, using such vocabulary that it should make clear to the readers about the details that are given below. Right. So next point to remember is that the content of the notice should include the following. Right. So what are the things that are to be included? First one is you should mention the target group for whom the notice has been written. For example, children, the notice is put up for the students of class 9th to 12th only. Like some of the notices are there which are for senior classes only. So the first point says that you must mention the target group. Target group means suppose a college is organizing a tour for the classes BCom only, right, for BCom classes only. So in such a way the notice should be written that it should make clear that this notice is meant for the students of BCom only, not for other courses, right? So target group, it means the notice is for which group of people, right? I hope that's clear. Second point, the purpose of writing the notice, that we have already discussed that the purpose of writing the notice should be made clear, right? And that too in very lucid language, very clear language, right? Next is the writer must mention the details like the date, time, venue fixed for the events, meetings, deadlines, etc. Right? So, for example, I would like to quote another example, like, we may continue with the same one. Suppose a tour is being organized, right, for the classes 9 to 12th. So, while drafting the notice, we must mention the date of that day on which we are placing the notice, right? We must mention the dates on which the tour is being planned. Secondly, we must mention the timings, the departure timings, the arrival timings, and the details. Venue means the place, destination that is fixed for visiting, right? So what events would be there, right? And any types of competition or any kind of other important event if that is to be taken place. So all these things are to be included. That is must, right? Last detail is whom to contact. The notice would be there that on this and this date 3 days tour to Jaipur and Jaisalmer would be taken, right? So but the students must contact a person to whom they can jot down with their details, like they can ask for the payment, they can deposit their payment, they can ask their queries. So a person should be recruited to whom the reporting of the students would be there, right? So whom to contact means that the students must be made clear with the point that which teacher or which secretary or which person they should contact in order to derive more details of the notice, right? I hope that's clear up to now. Next thing that you must remember is that the notice must also bear the signature, name and designation of the person who has written the notice, right? Or on whose behalf the notice has been written. Sometimes, the assistants or you may say the clerks prepare the notice. So they must write that this notice is from the principal side, right? This notice is from the examination in charge side. So they must mention that from whose behalf they are writing this notice, and it must bear the name, signature and designation of the person, right? So I hope that's also clear. Next point, you must place the entire content of the notice in a box. That would most probably be a rectangular box, right? That's what the length of the notice is, right? So you must put it in a box. Next is you must adhere to the given time limit. So students, you would be given a word limit, right? You must follow that. For example, if you are instructed that you have to complete the notice within 50 words, then you may conclude that in 45 words, or you may go up to 55 or 56 words maximum. It means you can deviate a little bit from the given pattern, but yes, you must try your level best to end up that notice in 50 words. Right? So I hope that's also clear. Next is symbols and abbreviations can also be used in some of the notices. We often use the word etc. Its spellings are wrong. Its spellings are long, but we often write it as etc. dot. Right. So, for example, we often write it for e.g. Right. So these are some of the abbreviations, acronyms that we can use, right, while writing a notice. So I hope that's also clear to all of you. Next, and a very important point is that we should not contain any irrelevant information in our notice. Why? So children, the word limit is already very less. While we are writing paragraphs or letters, we need to cook up stories, we need to add lines from our side, we need to increase length, I would say. But in notices, we need to decrease length, children. We need to decrease it, right? So that's why we should not include any such line, even any such word, I would say, that is not important from the point of view of providing the information. So that's why try your level best to exclude any kind of irrelevant information, right? So next, and a must to be follow point is that a notice is generally written in third person. Therefore, the use of first person and second person should be avoided as far as possible. To elaborate, I would say you should not write that I want to inform you. No, the students are hereby informed. The students of class 9th and 10th are hereby informed. Right? So the term became third person. So neither the use of first nor the use of second person should be done while drafting a notice. Right? I hope that's clear up to now. Next point is, usually present tense and future tense references predominate over other tense forms. It means as far as possible, so past tense is avoided. So but that may vary according to situations. So the editor has mentioned it for the sake of fair drafting of the notice, or else it may change a bit according to the given situation, right? So I hope all the points are clear to you. Right? So next is the format of a notice. So children, as you can see, in the format of a notice, the very first point would be you have to write the name of the school or the college or the office, or you may say organization, right, from which the notice is being issued. For example, we are issuing a notice from Apple International School, Lumpy, right? So the black area, the area that is blackened, right, in the book, so that there we should write the name of the school, Apple International School, Lumpy, right? So second thing is that we must write NOTICE in capitals, notice word here in the extreme center. Remember, most of the students commit the mistake that they write notice on the top of it and then they write the name of the school or the college. But the name of the organization would come on the top of the notice, and then in the second place, the word notice would come. Right? The third is the column of date. Right? The date is to be written on the extreme left side on the third number. Children, you may remember it by numbering. At first number, you must mention the name of the school or the organization from whose side the notice is being given. In the second place, you would write the word itself, notice, NOTICE. In the third instance, you would write date. Right? In the fourth instance, you would give a title or a heading, or you may call it a subject. I mean to say that, for example, like we were talking of a tour to Jaipur and Jaisalmer, right? So we should give the heading like that only. We may write it like educational tour to Jaipur, right? So the subject should be written in brief only, but it should be highly informative, right? So next is, in that much, in the next blackened space provided, we must write the content of the notice, right? So this content should be written in the particular given word limit, children, right? The words written above, I mean the name of the school, date, notice, and subject heading, etc., these are not considered while counting the word limit. Only the body of the notice, only the content, main content of the notice is counted, right? So see, after that, after completing the body of the notice, we would write name and designation. Suppose Rohit is writing a notice, and Rohit is the activity in charge of the school, and above the name it would be the signature column, right? So signatures would be done above the name. It means after writing the name and designation, so above his or her name, the person would do full signatures, right? So I really hope that the content is clear to all of you, like what is a notice, for what purpose a notice is being displayed, right? And what are the points that we must remember while drafting a notice, and at last that the notice is to be drafted and it should be kept in a box, right? Remember, the box should be drawn with the help of a scale, right? So I hope all the points are clear to all of you. So students, let's understand it with an example. So the example that I feel that is apt for you to understand. So read the question first. As Vipul Rana means you are already assigned a name, right? So under that name only you have to write the notice. As Vipul Rana, the secretary of the Literary Society of Indus Public School, Jeend. Wonderful. So children, you are given a lot of information. Your name has been assigned to you. Your designation has also been assigned to you. What is your designation? You are the Secretary of Literary Society. Secretary of Literary Society. Literary Society is the society that is formed in schools and colleges that organizes the events related to art and literature. Right? So see what event is waiting for us. The name of the school is Indus Public School, Jeend. Right? So, what is the question? Draft a notice for the students, for the school notice board, inviting students, notice it very carefully, inviting students of class 9th to 12th for a declamation contest to be held in your school. Right? Invent other necessary details. Invent means think from your side. Right? So, what you need to do here, first, children, a personal suggestion that is not given in the books or that Google would not suggest you. The suggestion is that whenever you start writing a notice, please don't write it in fair. In the first instance, you must write the notice in a rough space, right? So that would save a lot of time and energy. In fact, the children may think that, some of the children may think that it would be a wastage of time, but no, students, mistakes are always there, and every cutting deducts 0.5 or 0.25 marks. So that's why avoid cutting as far as possible, as it was shared in the instructions as well, that you should write it in neat and clean handwriting, right? So jot down the contents in a rough space. So we may think about the contents here. What thing we have to announce? We have to announce that a declamation competition is going to be conducted in the school, and we have to invite entries from the students of class 9th to 12th only, right? So what details we need? Children, we need first to announce that this or this competition is going to be held. On which date? We have to give a date, we have to give time, we have to mention the venue, like the place where it will be held, right? We also have to give the topic of discussion, right? Like what would be the topic of declamation. Next, we have to ask the students, like whosoever are interested, they must register their name with which teacher by which date. It means we have to give deadline as well, like by latest by which date those entries should be submitted, right? We must mention the name. We can also mention the contact number of the person so that students can contact him or her telephonically, right? So these points you need to jot down in rough, children, which I have just narrated, right? I hope that's very much clear to all of you. Let's see how it's written in a beautiful manner. So, the literary society. It is written in the beginning, right? So, how it is written, that the literary society means, as I told you, some of the societies, some of the clubs are there. So, if the event is from their side, that is written on the top. Then, name of the school. Indus Public School, Jind, that is also in capitals, as I told you. Next comes notice, right, in the very center. Then on the extreme left side, we would mention date, like today is 5th June 2020, right? So we should write it in that manner. So in the next line, we would write heading. Heading obviously would be declamation contest or declamation competition, right? So I hope that's clear up to now. Next, see what language is written. The Literary Society is going to organize a declamation contest. See children, declamation D capital, contest C capital. It means the organizer's name is given. Organizer is Literary Society, right? Event is declamation. So I am reading the text once again. The Literary Society is going to organize a declamation contest on 20th July. Here the date is given, 20th July at 11 a.m. in the school auditorium. Remember children, the event, date, time, venue. This should be the sequence. You should not write it like it would be organized at 11 a.m. on 20th July in the school auditorium. No. A fixed pattern is there, and yes, you have to follow it. You have to follow it like first mention the event, its date, its time, then its venue. That's it. This is the correct format, right? Next is the topic is cleanliness is next to godliness. Oh wow, that's a great topic. You can also prepare yourself for a live declamation contest, right? We would have it someday in our sessions. The topic is cleanliness is next to godliness, right? Interested students from classes 9th to 12th. Students, it should be clearly mentioned that this declamation contest is not meant for the students below 9th standard, right? So, interested students from classes 9 to 12th should register their names with their class teachers. It means they should register their names with their class in charges only. Latest by 16th of July. See children, whenever an event is organized, at least 10 or 15 days prior to that event, that is announced, right? So how that is announced? See, they have scheduled the event on 20th of July and they are providing the information on 10th of July, 10 days prior, right? So this should be synchronized very carefully. Don't write it like don't write it in a careless manner, writing that the event is on 20th July and you are writing the date 5th June, or you are writing the date 15th or 18th of July, right? So here it is mentioned that the interested students must register their names with their class in charges by which date? 16th July. Why 16th July? Because in between 3 days are needed for the preparation of the event. Means how much students would be participating, for the arrangement of prizes, for the writing of certificates, filling up of certificates, right? So all these things take time. So that's why you must mention that the students should register their name by a particular deadline, by a particular date. You can also write, for further details or for more details, contact Vipul Rana, right? Name, above that signatures, designation secretary, right? So I hope that's very much clear to all of you, right? Let's do another kind. So the notice is a sort of warning or an instruction. Heading is like, as principal, Vindhya International School, Nagpur. So children, your designation is already mentioned. You are the principal of a school that is named Vindhya International and that is in Nagpur, right? Draft a notice to be put up outside the school gate. See, children, you must understand the context after reading the question itself. Draft a notice to be put up outside the school gate. You know, generally the notices are displayed inside the school campus. So it's of a bit different kind and it has to be put up outside the gate. It means it is for the people who do some unfair activity outside the gate, outside the campus, right? School gate issuing a warning to those people who park their vehicles outside the school gate and the road leading to the school. It means some of the people must have been parking their vehicles in an appropriate manner outside the school gate, and as principal of the school you must issue them an order so that they should stop this practice immediately, right? So see the format. In the very first line, of course, the complete name of the school, Vindhya International School, Nagpur. Right? In the very second line, we would write the word notice itself. In the third line, complete date would be written. In the fourth line, heading should be written. Heading warning. Right? So see, a very formal wording should be used. Very formal wording. It is like, parking vehicles outside the school gate and on the road leading to the school is strictly prohibited. It means the thing that is strictly prohibited. It means that is not permissible. The permission to this act is not given, right? To which act? To the act of parking vehicles outside the school gate or on the road leading to the school. Means no person should park his or her vehicle outside the school gate, right? Or on the road that leads to the school. Vehicles parked there will be confiscated and legal action shall be taken against the offenders. Very simple, just in 2 lines. Second line means that the vehicles, if those are parked there after this warning, those vehicles would be taken into the authority of school, would be taken into the control of the school authorities, and a legal action will be taken against those defaulters, right? The offenders. After that, name and designation, and above that, signatures, right? Name, you can invent any name. D. Banerjee is written. After that, principal in round brackets, and above the name, signatures, right? I hope that's also clear to you.